Okay, let's just get straight into this. Part two. I watched part two and part three. I kind of had refreshed my mind about it, so like I just rewatched it. Okay, part two. They started out talking about the whole check thing that last reunion NeNe had mentioned to Kenya. You know, they was going back and forth with words, and she was just like, you know what, you send your check and I'll send mine. Whatever you send, I'll match it and all that. And Andy gets into that. I completely forgot about that, to be honest. And Andy was like, okay, Kenya was like, I sent my check and I posted it online. And NeNe, Andy asked NeNe, did she write her check? She was like, no, I didn't write my check. And Kenya, she goes on into, this is for the kids and all this and that. And NeNe was like, I'm very poor, child, and I can't afford to write that check. She is right. She, NeNe was just showing out and being all, sarcastic and shit and, whatever. That's Leneitha. She get into her defense mode. But I honestly, like, I do in a way understand where Kenya and even Andy is coming from, because honestly, NeNe was the one that said out of her own mouth that she would do that for the public schools in Detroit. She said that. Kenya didn't say that. So why didn't you send your money? Like, when nobody even would have even known, you know, anything about that had you not brung it up. When nobody finna say give money to the kids and for the schools and all that. Like, she the one brought this shit up. So what's the issue, Lenethia? Okay, moving on along from that whole thing, it was really funny. Um, they get into Kandi and Phaedra, and Kandi and Phaedra's relationship, it just took a turn for the worse this season, and it's a shame seeing friends, people who are real friends, and seeing them, all of a sudden not be friends all on TV, So that's pretty unfortunate. But we get into the whole thing, and Phaedra was just like, I just felt like she wasn't there for me as much as she should have. And Kandi basically broke it down. She was like, look, I was going through my own personal shit. I had a family member who was also going to prison, and, who I was very close to. I had that. My marriage was falling apart. I'm trying to see what the hell Todd really doing in LA. And also, I had to cancel the play, and the fact that many people was depending on those checks, and she had to fire everybody is, it's just stressful and it's a strain on somebody. And she was like, Phaedra didn't reach out to me, yet every time she sees Phaedra or hears from Phaedra or whatever, usually being on the show, she sees Phaedra talking to Porsha and NeNe about her. And Phaedra's like, I never talked to them about you. I never say anything bad about you or whatever. I honestly, how Phaedra talks and how shady Phaedra is, I do believe that Phaedra had some choice words for Kandi, and she said it to Leneitha and Porchette. So I honestly believe that. And, Kandi got emotional. She was like, I did a lot for Phaedra. That whole night at the beginning of the season, when Phaedra and no, when Apollo had apologized to Kenya, and basically he told the truth that Kenya didn't sleep with him or offer him fellatio. Kandi was right there, kind of chastising Apollo and was like, you wrong for this and this and that. And, something happened that night where Phaedra had called Kandi and she didn't pick up the phone, but Kandi let her know why she didn't pick up the phone and everything. And Candice went on to say she was there for her graduation, and she drove for hours to see her, and she's her friend and this and that. And Phaedra just sat like this the whole time. Just, I was just like, wow, where's your compassion? We all know Kandi cries. This is just what Candice have been doing since she's been on the show. It's just, I just promised myself I wasn't gonna do this. I'm so mad at myself right now that I'm crying. Candice. And she was just like, Phaedra was just like sitting there, and Porsha added her 2 cents. She was like, she felt like Apollo. She was taking Apollo's side, Kandi, and whatever. But where is it written that friends have to agree all the damn time on the same thing? Understand that Phaedra is Candice's friend, Candice is Phaedra's friend. I understand that, and your loyalty will always go to them first. But just because my best friend likes some stuff or agree on this certain topic about this certain person, don't mean that I have to, just because that's your damn husband. If she has a different opinion about Phaedra letting Apollo, if she has a different opinion about Phaedra bringing the kids to see Apollo in prison, then she has a different opinion about it. What's wrong with that? Like, Porsha, it ain't none of your damn business anyway. Thoughtlin, girl. So, that was just crazy. And NeNe and Kandi was like, "Look, I just told her to be weary, to be leery about NeNe, to be cautious, park your brakes, hold it, wait, because NeNe had fallen out with everybody in the past, and Andy brung that up, and NeNe was like, I was closer to Cynthia than throughout anybody throughout each season, meaning Kim, Sheree, Lisa, Deshawn, any of them. I was closer to Cynthia, which I do believe that. Um, Cynthia and Phaedra, they had got into it, a real nasty choice of words. We found out that, well, I do remember Cynthia actually did apologize to Phaedra, but Phaedra just didn't accept it. Phaedra was going back, I mean, Cynthia was going back and forth with Phaedra. I was like, damn, Cynthia. And, Phaedra was like, that was your storyline, this whole Mr. Chocolate thing. She was just like, stop with the storyline shit, honey. Apollo was your storyline, and now he's gone. Win a case. I was like, damn. And, the whole plus size modeling thing I thought was hilarious. But Cynthia actually did explain that she did do plus size modeling for a minute. Plus size modeling starts at size 8. I didn't know that. And she was like, she did it for a minute, and she's glad that her mom can fit some of the stuff that's in the catalog. And thank you so much for the shout out. Win a case. I was like, yes, this new Cynthia. I mean, I don't agree with everything Cynthia do. I think that Cynthia can learn how to talk to people better. If you come at me with an attitude, what the fuck you think I'm gonna give back? I do agree with that. What Phaedra said about Cynthia, she do need to learn how to talk to people better. I don't necessarily think she's a mean girl, and I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. But the way that she approached Phaedra, when they had that little sit down about Mr. Chocolate after she almost popped Kenya in the head, I didn't agree with that. The way Cynthia handled that, but hey, you ain't gonna get nowhere just being quiet all the time and kissing somebody else's ass and being a follower. Be a leader sometimes, bitch. I'm glad to see her leading and and doing her own. I think Kenya has something to do with it, but part of it was just who Cynthia really truly is. I'm glad she's finally opening up. NeNe says she's always gossiped. She's always been that way, and I believe it. What else happened? Um, am I forgetting something? They bring up Porsha and her being her own woman and all this, and who cares? I don't know why they just won't give Porsha back her peach. Honestly, like, what's the point? Like, she's on every single scene. She's on every single scene. Like, where the hell is Demetria? Anybody even brought up Demetria? I heard they told Demetria that her ass, that she can't. She was just so damn boring. Bitch, don't ever come back. We ain't even sending you no postcard. Don't come to none of the buffet events that we have. None of that. I was like, damn. I actually like Demetria. I think they should have gave her a chance. Um, what else happened? They bring out the husbands, and you know, they go into the whole little Peter thing with Peter talking shit. At first, I hated Peter. Now I kind of like Peter. But at first, I didn't like him. I thought he was evil and mean. I still think he's evil and mean, but you just kind of get used to shit. I guess. Um, he do, but into people's business too much. But hey, he said he don't give a fuck, and that's just who he is. So expect more of that out of Peter. Um, as NeNe, what did she think about it? She had nothing to say. Peter also said that he felt like she could have that everybody owes Kenya an apology. I do think that everybody owes Kenya an apology, but I don't think she should hold her. I don't think she should be surprised if she don't ever get it. Porsha says she's never gonna apologize to Kenya for the whole, dragging her across the Atlanta floor. What else happened? Um, I was just really shocked how Phaedra just sat there while Kandi cried and just didn't give a damn. It's like, wow. Um, Phaedra, NeNe said she do know Phaedra from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I thought it was funny. What else happened, you guys? Okay. Uh, Kenya was going back and forth with Phaedra about the whole Apollo thing, and they brought up the whole flirting incident, and NeNe Kenya was like, I can't even get it out because it was so funny. Kenya was like, NeNe flirts with Peter. She was like, wait, no, wait a minute, bitch. Oh no, bitch, this is not Phaedra, bitch. You can talk about Apollo and Phaedra, but you're not gonna talk about me, bitch. I'm Leneitha Lakes, bitch. Okay, I don't give a damn. My husband is right here. You ask Peter. Peter. You ask Peter. It just totally reminded me of that scene in the season. I don't know what season it was, 3, 4, something like that. When Kim and NeNe was getting into it on Candy's tour bus, and she was like, "This is not sweetie, okay? This is not sweetie." And Kim's like, it was just so funny. I passed out. I was like, oh my gosh. Um, what else? They get into the whole thing with Claudia, get into it with NeNe, about the whole half breed comment. And look, and she did this whole public service announcement. I want to apologize to anybody who was offended by that. I have biracial friends. I know, I have friends of all different races. Hell, I might even be mixed. And NeNe is just hell on earth. Like I can't, I'm not the biggest fan of NeNe, not no more. But that bitch is funny sometimes. I swear. Um, but honestly, when you're arguing with somebody, it's whatever. You know, if you feel like they getting you, which I felt like Claudia was getting NeNe really good, you always go personal. That's not necessarily right, but that's just what happens. You going back and forth with somebody. If they getting your ass good and they ring you down, you can't look like a punk or look like you lost in front of everybody. You don't want to be embarrassed. So, you go for the jugular, you go for what hurts, and that's just what it was. Honestly, that's what I thought. But it was a little hurtful, and I understand that whole thing. Um, let's see. They get into Cynthia and NeNe's whole thing as to why they're not friends anymore. Cynthia explained the shit perfectly. She said basically after the whole night, I'm gonna tie NeNe and Cynthia's incident in together. It was like basically after the whole night, um, NeNe went to her room crying, and Cynthia was like, "Yeah, that's true," and all that. And they had went on trips, and there was just no issue after that. They talked about it, and then she didn't have no issue with it until she saw it on TV or whatever. Cynthia was like, "Look, what happened was they went to Kenya had that shady ass charity event where she invited NeNe and all that." And NeNe was not happy to be there, and she kind of showed out in front of people. Peter, who was very close to NeNe at the time, had something to say. And he was talking calmly. Was that necessarily his place? No, but what are you gonna do? That's just who Peter is. And so he talked to NeNe, and he was fine. And Greg was standing right there, but apparently Greg wanted to talk to Peter man to man because after the whole thing, I guess people was coming at him, was like, "You a punk, why you didn't say nothing to Peter?" So that's when he decided to say something to Peter. I guess he woke up from his sleep, Greg ass, and then he finally decided, "Oh, I'm mad, he shouldn't have said that to my woman," when he was standing right there not saying nothing, like a corpse. So he brought up the whole thing. And Peter, Greg is very delayed on his reactions, but he's older, so whatever. Like when he brung up at the reunion, "Did you sleep with my wife? Did you flirt with my wife?" Duh, Peter, Greg, where the hell were you? They was flirting. It was innocent, it was cool, but Peter and NeNe was flirting. The whole similar personalities thing, I think, is true. Like what Peter said about Apollo and Kenya. Um, so anyway, they did that whole thing. And Cynthia also, she said she didn't like how that night when they was together in Mexico, all the girls, Cynthia, NeNe went right over to her damn blog and started talking shit about Cynthia. Who the fuck does that? You right in the next room, call a bitch, come over, walk over to Cabana and talk to me. That was craziness. And so basically things just wasn't the same after that. They tried to work it out, and she did try to get Cynthia fired. She said Cynthia don't do shit for the show. She need to go. I'm just gonna move on because I gotta leave before 15 minutes get here. Okay, moving on to the whole thing. With Cynthia crying, I mean, with NeNe having a breakdown and all that, I do feel like it was a real moment. I did feel bad for Leneitha Leaks at that time. Do I think that all the girls are gonna be cool again? No, but apparently, Claudia had a meeting or talked to NeNe about the whole thing. They're kind of cool now, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm glad the season is over. And good luck to all the girls, I guess. But I don't know. Nene's still full of shit, but I did feel bad for her. I'm Mr. Chalaki. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I know this video is late. Whatever. I just decided to do it. Mr. At this Kingswear on Instagram and Twitter. Bye.